Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of MC Loving Movies. I'm your host with the most, MC, and we're here to talk movies all night. We do deep dives, countdowns, talk a little physical media, and every now and then we might dive into other subjects, but for the most part, we're here to talk some cinema. So for tonight's episode, I thought I'd cover the subject of scariest movie that you ever saw when you were a kid, and it shook you so bad that it still haunts you to this very day. Everybody's got one. You can ask a random person, what's the scariest movie that you've ever seen? And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a movie from their childhood because of how much of an impact it has on you at such a young age. The movie that haunted me for most of my life and was absolute nightmare fuel is none other than Italian horror cult classic Demons, presented by Dario Gento and directed by Lamberto Bava. This film was released in 1986 and shot in Berlin, Germany, with a legendary soundtrack including Billy Idol, Motley Crue, just to name a few. The first time I saw this movie, I was probably about 5 or 6, if I remember correctly. Me and the siblings were just digging through the VHSs, and you know how that goes. There's probably about 3 or 4 movies that fit on each tape. So we popped one in, and the rest is history. It was really hard to watch, but I couldn't look away. This film is truly something to behold, and I really don't want to give away too much because the less you know about it, the more crazy of an experience it is. So it goes without saying that if you're squeamish and you don't like blood, you might want to skip this one because it is chock full of gore, and let me tell you, I had a lot of trouble sleeping that night and many nights after that. My 5-year-old brain was just trying to process what it just witnessed that night, and it stuck with me for many years. Even when I would see a movie that was pretty damn scary, it would never compare to Demons for me. I just had that much respect for it at the time. Watching it recently, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It wasn't as scary as I remember it. There was definitely some imagery that stuck with me and gave me that feel. For the most part, I love this movie. It's definitely in my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. Deserves to be a cult classic. I love how over the top this movie is, and I can't recommend it enough. You have to own this movie if you collect physical media. You got to watch this movie if you can. If it's streaming somewhere, you definitely have to take the time to check it out. Demons, 1986, Italian horror cult classic. Thanks for joining me on this episode of MC Loving Movies. Leave it down in the comments section. What's the scariest movie that you've ever seen? Is it from your childhood? I'd like to know. And like and subscribe. Catch me on the next episode of MC Loving Movies. This is your host, MC, and I'm out.
So I used the bathroom. I done.